So coming down to your mat, let's start lying down. Any comfortable position for you. And noticing your breath. Noticing the quality of your breath. And taking deep inhales in through your nose, into your diaphragm, and long, slow exhales out. On your exhales, let go of any thoughts that don't serve you. Any thoughts about your week? The things you wish to do today. Let them go, even if it's just for now. And know that you can come back to them after our practice if it's important. And if not, let it go entirely. So our class today is based on 3 things: gratitude, forgiveness, and support. So gratitude. Sometimes during stressful or tough situations, we forget about the things that we could be grateful for. I invite you to take a few breaths here and focus on the things, people, situations in your life that you are grateful for. Forgiveness. None of us are perfect. We all have wronged others, and others have wronged us. It may not have been intentional. Even if it was, holding on to bad feelings doesn't serve us. I invite you to take a few breaths to focus on the things that you would like to be forgiven for and ask for forgiveness. And maybe send a few forgiving thoughts to those who have wronged you. And support. No man is an island. We all rely on others in one way or another. And there is nothing wrong with that. That's what makes family, community, country, and humanity so amazing. I invite you to take a few breaths to focus on where you receive help and support in your life, or maybe where you wish to receive guidance. So as we go through our class today, if your mind starts to wander, maybe you can focus on a mantra during the class. So some mantras for today that I will offer are, I am grateful. I ask for and offer forgiveness. I am open to receive guidance and support. All right, so finding some small movements in your fingers and toes. Perhaps rolling around wrists and ankles. Maybe taking a big stretch here. And then hugging both knees in toward your chest. Gratitude, forgiveness, support. All right, let's roll over to one side, whichever side is calling for you. And then gently making your way up to seated. Okay, so any comfortable seated position? Can everyone hear me okay? Are we good? Thumbs up? Yeah, okay. All right. So let's start here with some circles in our body. Maybe big circles, little circles, just some organic movement here, whatever feels good for you. Maybe explore what it's like to move shoulders in different directions. Maybe you stretch in one side or the other or behind you. And just kind of check in to see how your body's feeling. Going in the opposite direction if you haven't already. I always find this one kind of nice because then my body's like, ooh, hips, ooh, low back, pay attention. All right, gently coming back to center. And we'll find a moving twist here. So arms come out to the side, palms face up towards the sky. On your inhale, arms reach up towards the sky. And on your exhale, turning to one side, hands come down by your sides. Inhale, lengthening your spine, coming back to center. And then exhale, turning to the other side, hands come down. Just keep moving here with your own breath. Using your inhales to come back to center and exhales to turn. So as we breathe today, remember inhaling in through the nose, and if it's comfortable, into the diaphragm, and allowing the exhales to be longer and slower than the inhales. So let's go one more time in each direction. And once that's complete for you, arms come down by your sides. Okay, today we'll clasp our hands out in front, turn the palms out, round the spine, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. And then if it's comfortable for you, maybe you kind of turn your hands so that your shoulders are kind of one shoulder dips down. Come back to center with the hands, and then the other shoulder dips down. Come back to center, release the hands. Okay, from here, we're going to come into a bit of a shoulder stretch. So be very careful with how far you go if you have shoulder issues. So in our shoulder stretch, we're going to place our feet on the floor, knees are bent. I always get this mixed up. For this stretch, our hands turn back behind us. Okay, so as close to your body as you wish or as far away. So you can start walking your hands back for a little bit more of a stretch. We want to roll the shoulders away from our ears. If you wish for a little bit more, even still, you can start to slide your tailbone down towards your feet. Maybe walk the feet out a little bit. And focusing on your breath. Okay, so whenever you're ready, if the hips came out, maybe sliding the hips back. Gently walking the arms back up. All right, and let's come over into a tabletop pose. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Gripping your fingers into the earth and cupping your hands on the earth. And let's find some cat-cow here. So on your cat, round your spine, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, really arch the upper back up towards the sky. And then on the cow, moving in the opposite direction, tailbone points up towards the sky, shoulders roll back and down the spine. And just moving with your own breath, seeing where it's more comfortable to inhale and where it's more comfortable to exhale. And as we move through these slower, gentler movements, this can be an opportunity to be mindful. So notice how it feels in your back. Notice every small movement. Where do you feel it? Notice what's going on in your hands, your shoulders, what your breath is doing. All right, coming back to our tabletop pose. We'll come into a child's pose. So any variation that's comfortable for you. Maybe it's knees together, knees apart. Let's bring the arms out long. So if your head doesn't come all the way to the earth, either stacking fists or placing a block underneath your forehead. And melting your heart down towards the earth. Returning to gratitude. I am grateful. All right, gently coming back to tabletop. Okay, so thread the needle, I know is not everybody's favorite. So I'm gonna offer let me try that again. I'm going to offer a couple different variations, okay? So if thread the needle doesn't feel good for you in your body, there is an option to come into more like a child's pose variation. So you come back and then one arm scoops under this way, and there's a lot less pressure on the shoulder. If the head doesn't come all the way to the earth, or if it's uncomfortable to bring the head all the way to the earth, maybe grabbing a block or folded blanket to place underneath the head. So the other option is our shoulder stretched this way, but maybe try the child's pose variation just to see how it feels first. Okay, so thread the needle from tabletop. We'll all start here, all of us. We're just gonna find a little bit of shoulder movement or arm movement. So we're gonna bring the right arm out towards the side, maybe up towards the sky. And then we're gonna bring it under. We're not gonna come into the movement just yet. Just gonna gently thread it under, twist the body. Come back up. Right arm reaches high. And arm scoops under, maybe on your exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Arm reaches high, as far as you feel comfortable. Scooping under. Last one, arm reaches high. Scooping under. Okay, so this time we're going to come and do that on the other side, and then we'll find our thread the needle. So left arm up towards the sky. Scoop the left arm under on your exhale. Just go as far as it feels comfortable. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach under. Inhale up. Exhale under. Last one, inhale up. And exhale under. We'll come back to our tabletop. So back over to the right side. So any variation of this stretch that feels right for you in your body. So from our tabletop, we'll bring the right arm up towards the sky, scoop the right arm under, shoulder and head come down to the earth. We want to make sure that the right shoulder is not up by our ear. We want to send that shoulder down, so down towards your knees. All right, and then what feels good for you here? Does it feel good to maybe walk the left hand forward? Sink and settle. Maybe left foot comes out towards the side. Maybe left arm comes behind you. Not going to happen for me today. Noticing your breath. Staying connected to gratitude.
One more round of breath here. And then gently bringing the left hand under the left shoulder. Knee comes to the earth if the leg is out. Using the left hand to push into the earth to unravel. Right arm comes up towards the sky. And then bringing the right arm down towards the earth. Other side, left arm comes up. And scooping the left arm under. If you're in your child's pose variation, same sort of thing. Even that right hand can stay long or can move somewhere else if that feels good for you. With every exhale, see if you can soften your body a little bit more. Sink and settle. Finding one more round of breath. And right hand comes under your shoulder. Right foot to the earth or right knee. Using your right hand to help you come up. Reach the right arm up towards the sky. Left arm, not the right arm. And then left hand comes down to the earth. Okay. Balancing cat. I'll try and get it right this time. So we want to draw the navel in. Okay, imagine a string, pulling it up towards the sky. Grip fingers into the earth. So nice straight back here. So we'll start by extending the right leg long behind you. I want to point the toes down towards the earth. So squaring your hips to the earth. Really stretch that right leg long behind you. So in our hands, we want to push away from the earth. Okay, so we're not sinking into our shoulders, but we're pushing up. Find your balance. And if you wish, left hand can come forward. Arms by the ear, roll that shoulder back and down the spine, but reach with the fingers. Keep pushing into that right hand. And if you wish to make this a little bit more challenging, maybe the left arm comes out to the side. Maybe the right leg comes out to the side. Keep a nice straight spine. Draw the navel in. Push away from the earth. Woo. And then gently lower. I always find it interesting to see where I feel it in my body. Sometimes it's in the most unexpected places. Okay, other side, draw the navel in, push away from the earth, grip the fingers. Left leg comes long, square the hips to the earth. So toes are pointing down. Reach nice and long with that leg. And then perhaps the right arm comes out forward. Shoulder rolls back and down the spine. Try not to start collapsing into that left shoulder. And maybe you try and find a balance by moving the arm and the leg out towards the side. Again, notice you're not collapsing. That's when I notice I start to collapse. Arm and leg come back to center. Gently lowering to the earth. All right, let's come back into kneeling. So in our kneeling pose, if you need to, you can bring a blanket or something underneath your knees for a little bit of extra padding if you wish. Okay, so we're gonna start getting ready for our camel. We won't come into it just yet, but we're gonna start here. So if you have blocks and you find it easier to reach the floor with blocks while we do this, feel free to grab them. So this is how it's going to look. We're just gonna move kind of back and forth. So right hand comes down to a block or the earth, out to the side. You're going to lift your hips, and then the left arm comes up towards the sky. So only lift as far as you feel comfortable. You may also need the block closer to your knees. So that way you still want to try and send the hips forward, okay? And then we come down and we come over to the other side. Left hand to the block or the earth, right arm reaches up towards the sky. And then come down. So to make it more challenging, you flip your block to a shorter level, or you walk your block or your hand back behind you. So we all have different arm lengths and leg lengths. Sorry, keep going. So what's going to work in one person's body will not necessarily work in somebody else's. It may also depend on how you feel today. Today I need blocks, and that is totally okay. So let's go one more time in each direction. Beautiful. And we're going to make our way back into our tabletop. Okay, let's bring the right foot forward between the hands. Finding a low lunge here, right knee is over the right ankle, in line with the second or third toe. And if you wish for a little bit more of a stretch, walking that left leg back a little bit more. And then from here, let's bring both hands to the thighs. Push into the thigh to help you rise. So nice straight spine. Rolling the right hip back, left hip forward. All right, if you wish, reaching the arms up towards the sky, shoulders roll back and down the spine. Maybe the right hand comes down by your side. You can find a block if you need to, but it might be way behind you. And then reaching over towards the right side. Hand doesn't have to come to the floor. Inhale, reaching back up. Exhale, hands come to the earth. Let's come into tabletop and then come over to the other side. Knee over ankle in line with the second or third toe. And then when you feel ready, hands to thigh, push into the thigh, shoulders roll back and down the spine. Left hip rolls back, right hip rolls forward. So we want to square our hips towards the short edge of the mat. If you feel discomfort here in the low back, try and find a slight tuck of your tailbones, a little bit of a tip. Let's bring the arms up towards the sky, if you wish. Left hand maybe comes down by the side and tipping over towards the left side. Inhale, reaching the arms back up.
Exhale, hands to the earth. We're going to come into a forward fold. So curling the back toes under and lift the knee. Step the right foot forward, forward fold. So as much of a bend in your knees as you need. We don't want any discomfort in the low back or backs of the thighs. Maybe you sway. Maybe you grab a hold of opposite elbows. Just find what variation of this pose feels best for you. Most important thing is not to strain the back or the thighs and not to strain the neck. So release any tension. Maybe shaking out your head. All right, ready? Hands come to your hips, and on your inhale, reverse. Swan dive up. And exhale, find your mountain near the top of your mat. So feet are hip distance apart, squeeze the inner thighs, shoulders roll back and down the spine. Crown of your head reaches nice and high. So continue squeezing your inner thighs. You might find a little bit of a tuck of the tailbone by doing that. We want to keep that there. Inhale, arms reach up towards the sky. Exhale, let's come into cactus arms and then open the heart up towards the sky. So the movement is from the upper back. Keep squeezing the inner thighs, nice and gentle. Do you squeeze gentle? I don't know. Anyway. All right, inhale, reach back up, extended mountain. Exhale, swan diving down, forward fold. Let's step the right foot back into warrior one. So toes point up towards the top right corner of the mat. We want a wide stance here. Right foot to the right side of the mat, left foot to the left. Squeeze the inner thighs as you rise. Shoulders roll back and down the spine, and roll the left hip back, right hip forward. If it feels like it's too difficult for you here, you can always take a step forward with that back foot. Some people just don't like it at all, so you can always do a high lunge instead if you wish. Just know that humble warrior is going to be hard. Okay. All right. So warrior one, squaring the hips. We'll do a little bit of movement here. So inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, bend into that front knee. Make sure it doesn't go past the toes. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. Inhale to straighten. Last time, exhale, bend. Let's bring our hands back behind us. So up to you. If it's comfortable, or grabbing a hold of wrists. If that's not comfortable, you can, not wrists, I'm sorry, clasping your hands. If clasping your hands isn't comfortable, maybe you grab a hold of wrists or forearms, okay? So shoulders roll back and down the spine. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, you're going to fold towards the inside of the left thigh. Nice flat back as you come down. And then maybe the arms reach up towards the sky if your hands are clasped. Release tension in the neck. So we don't want to be using the left leg to lean onto. Just beside us. Shoulders roll away from the ears. Stretch the arms high if your hands are clasped. Still bend into that left knee if you can. One more round of breath here. And then come on up with a flat back as much as you possibly can. Release the hands. All right, we're going to come and turn towards the long edge of the mat. Feet come parallel to the sides, the short edge of the mat. Hands come to your hips. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. So hands come wherever's comfortable. Maybe it's the thighs, shins, blocks, or the earth. Just find a few rounds of breath here. All right, hands to your hips. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, coming up with a flat back. Okay, we're going to turn towards the front of our mat. Warrior one once again. Okay, let's step. No, we're going to do something here. Okay, warrior two. So left foot is pointing forward. Right foot comes parallel to the short edge of the mat. Bending into the front knee. We're coming into half moon. So grab a block if you use one. So our half moon, we're going to bring the block forward, in front, and to the left. And I find I have to walk the block with me because I can't reach it far enough. All right. So forward and to the left. We're going to bring that right foot up off the earth. If you need to, you can take a step forward. Left foot comes up, or right foot comes up. Oh, goodness me. Right arm reaches up towards the sky. All right, if you find you wish for a little bit more challenge in half moon, you can always try and remove your hand from the block. Or maybe hand comes to the earth instead. And we want to turn our hips so that they're square towards the long edge of our mat. I'm sure many of you have heard this before. I used to not enjoy this pose. When I practiced it, I taught it so much so that I had to actually be okay with it. Okay, whenever you're ready, you're going to bend into that left knee, step the right foot back. Warrior two. Let's windmill the hands down to frame the front foot. Right foot steps forward, forward fold. Okay. Inhale, arms come out to the side, reverse swan dive up, extended mountain. Squeeze the inner thighs. Exhale, cactus arms, find a slight back bend here. Imagine that string pulling your heart up. Inhale, extended mountain. And exhale, swan diving down, forward fold. Warrior one on the other side, left foot steps back. Toes point up towards top left corner of the mat. Nice wide stance. Squeeze your inner thighs and come on up. Check the front knee. Make sure it's over the ankle, in line with the second or third toe. Square the hips. Arms reach up towards the sky. Find a slight tuck of your tailbone. Okay, same thing on this side. Let's straighten the leg. And then exhale, bend into it. Straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Let's do one more. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend.
All right. Here we go, humble warrior. Hands come back behind your low back. If you clasped your hands, find the opposite clasp. If you grabbed a wrist, find the opposite wrist. Shoulders roll back and down the spine. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, folding towards the inside of the right thigh. If your hands are clasped, maybe you straighten your arms, reach the arms high, roll the shoulders away from the ears. Find your breath. One more round of breath. And then coming up with a flat back as much as you can. Let's turn our feet sideways once again, coming towards this long edge of the mat. Okay, inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, folding forward. Hands come wherever's comfortable. Relax your head. Shake out any tension in your neck. Find gratitude. Allow your hands to come to your hips. Inhale, lengthen your spine and come on up. Let's set up for warrior two. Right heel intersects with the middle of the back foot. For some people, it's more comfortable for that heel to intersect with the other heel. For others, it's more comfortable to intersect with the toes. Just find whatever feels good for you. All right, so in our warrior two, we square our hips towards the short edge of the mat. We bend into that front knee, but we're going to find our block to come into a half moon. Okay, so hand comes to the, or block comes to the earth in front of the foot and over to the right. This could be enough of a stretch for some of us today, right? So we're gonna shift our weight forward. You may have to step that back foot in a little bit, totally okay. We wanna keep our foot, the right foot pointing towards the short edge of the mat. Okay, lift the back leg, straighten it, turn the hips open. You may have to walk the block a little more towards the right, and then left arm opens up towards the sky. So we want to try and focus on turning the body so that it's kind of like when we come into side angle, we want to imagine a wall behind us, head, shoulders, hips, even that top leg is up against the wall. Notice how it feels in your neck. If you need to look down, look down. Whoa! Just know it's harder to balance. Okay, forgiveness, right? So let's not be judgmental with ourselves. If we have some judgmental thoughts, that's okay. Forgiveness. It's okay to fall. It's okay to be challenged. Forgiveness. Okay, whenever you're ready, stepping the left foot back. Whew. Okay, windmilling the hands down to frame the front foot. We're going to step back this time into a plank pose. Draw the navel in, push the body away from the earth, and then lower the knees. Ready? Let's take a break. Child's pose, any variation, or if you'd rather come into puppy pose, feel free to do that. Arms walk out in front, hips stay up above the shoulders, melting the heart. Forgiveness. Is there something you need to forgive yourself for? Or maybe you ask for someone else's forgiveness. Or perhaps you offer forgiveness to someone else. All right, making your way back into a tabletop. So we're going to find a side plank. So many different variations for a side plank depending on where you're working. Okay, so first one, right hand underneath the shoulder. We'll start this way. Left leg comes long behind you. Place the left foot on the earth. Right hand comes up towards the sky. And if you need to, you send that right foot back behind you like a kickstand, curling the toes under. Okay, balance is a little more challenging with the foot on the earth on the mat. Okay, so one option here. Maybe let's all come into this first to begin. If it feels comfortable for you, maybe extending that left arm long, roll the shoulder back and down the spine. All right, let's come out of this one. Let's come into tabletop. All right, a little bit more challenging. This time we're going to bring the left foot to the earth. Toes are going to point out towards the long edge of the mat or that area. Okay, we're going to roll the shoulders back and down, pick up the back leg, come up on the toes, flip over towards the pinky toe edge. Maybe you need to walk your foot. Left arm reaches high. Maybe you're in the first variation of some sort of variation of the first one. All right, keep sending the hips up. And then if you want a little bit more challenge, both feet come back behind you. Grip the fingers into the earth. Last challenge. Ooh, left leg comes up. Not today. All right, 2 more rounds of breath wherever you are. Slowly making your way back into your tabletop. Let's take the right hand and send the fingers under. So the top of your palm, right, is going to come down, not the palm, top of your palm, the top of your hand, or top of the fingers is going to come down. Your hand may not come all the way. So use the left hand to support you. So you may have to rock forward to take pressure off, or maybe you rock back to stretch out the wrist a little bit. All right, let's release that hand. Maybe you find some circles. Other side. Left wrist under left shoulder. We'll all start with bringing the right leg long behind us. Right hand comes up towards the sky. And if you wish to, find that kickstand. Maybe the right arm reaches forward, find length along the right side of your body. Send the hips up. Maybe you stay here, maybe you find our next step. Right foot to the earth, out to the side. Extend the left leg long. Come over to the pinky toe edge. Right hand reaches up towards the sky. Send the hips up. Find your breath. Forgiveness for any negative thoughts. Again, if you wish, challenging yourself some more, send that right foot back. Maybe feet are staggered or maybe you stack feet. Breathe through it. I'm feeling it too, so maybe the right foot comes up towards the sky. Not today, but that's okay. One more round of breath. And then gently make your way into tabletop. So flipping the left hand so the fingers are pointing towards your legs. Maybe you need to rock forward to relieve a little bit of pressure. Maybe you start to gently come back to stretch out the front of that wrist. My goodness, okay. We got 3 more things to get in. We could do it and still have a rest. All right, tabletop. We're gonna come into a squat pose. So follow me or you're gonna make your way into standing. So downward dog. Right foot reaches up towards the sky. Send the right foot forward to the outside of the right hand. Left foot comes to the outside of the left hand. If you're standing, find a wide stance. Okay, we're going to point the toes out towards the sides. And then slowly start to bring your hips down. So go as far as you feel comfortable. Your squat might be high today. Your squat can come low. If you wish, you can always place something underneath the hips. And sometimes you need to play around with the footing. Elbows to the inside of the knees if you can, hands to heart center. Nice straight spine. Gratitude and forgiveness. All right, we're going to come to standing. If you have to, you can always come to a forward fold first and then come to standing, but I invite you to try to push your feet into the mat. Come on up. And then find mountain pose. From our mountain pose, we're going to shift our weight into our left foot. Pick up the right foot. Send the right foot back. This is dancer. Activate the right foot, pull back the toes. This protects the knee. If you can, hand comes to the inner arch of that right foot. If you can. Outside is okay, but preferably inside opens the shoulder. Keep the right foot active. Send the knee down towards the earth. So you want your legs kind of in line.
Left arm comes forward. Find your balance, find your place to focus on. Maybe you start to tip forward. Maybe you start to kick up and away. So you're almost kicking into that hand, but also up towards the sky at the same time. Foot stays active. I am very grateful for a wall today. Exhale, release. Come back to mountain. Maybe you shake out legs and arms. All right, find your mountain, squeeze the inner thighs, shoulders roll back and down. Shift the weight into your right foot. Just keep a slight micro bend in your right knee. Left foot comes up off the earth. Send the left foot back. If you can, find the inner arch of your foot. Keep your foot active. Send the knee down. This could be enough of a stretch. Ooh, I feel it today. Okay, right arm comes forward. Perhaps you start to tip forward. Perhaps you push that left foot up and back. Notice the difference from one side to the other. Is it easier or harder to balance on the side? How does it feel in the left leg? Is it easier or harder to send it back? One more round of breath. And then release. Check it out. Find your mountain. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, swan diving down, forward fold. Find a few rounds of breath here in your forward fold. We're going to come back down into tabletop and then into kneeling. Camel pose, we're doing good. We're all right. Camel pose. Good thing it's a 75-minute class. All right, so you can use blocks for camel. So we kind of did like almost like a moving camel earlier in the class to kind of prepare us. If you want, you can still use blocks. So blocks will kind of depend, the height and where you put them will depend on how much, how comfortable you are in the pose. So with the blocks or without the blocks, hand will come to the foot. So we're going to come up on our toes, curl the toes under, and sit back. Find your blocks. We're going to come up onto our knees. What we want to do is we want to keep the hips over the knees, okay? So we'll start by bringing the right hand back, send the hips forward, right hand comes back. Maybe you look up towards the sky, try not to drop the neck, roll that shoulder back and down the spine. Maybe the left hand left hand comes back. Send the hips forward. Maybe you open more, maybe hands come to heels or ankles. Send the hips forward. If you don't have any neck issues, perhaps you drop your neck, but only if you've never injured your neck or don't have any discomfort in your neck. Okay, allowing your neck to come back up. We're slowly gonna untwist.
or come up. Let's come into tabletop. Find some organic movements here. Maybe it's some C shapes, figure eights, cat cow, whatever feels good for you. And our last twist for the class, I like to end with a twist, is actually going to be seated today. We'll come to seated. I don't know, I don't think someone drew this card, but it came out, so I'm going to teach it. Seated twist or Marichi's pose. Okay, so we'll start here, trying to figure out which variation. We'll do this. Right leg out, left foot in. Find your sits, but bones sit up nice and tall. I'm tongue-tied today. Okay. So left foot crosses over the right leg. If that's comfortable, if you can get the foot all the way to the earth. If it's in your body and you're able to keep both sits bones on the floor, maybe the right leg tucks under. My body says not today, which is fine. All right, so we're going to turn towards that front knee, but know that if turning into that leg is not comfortable, some people feel constricted in their breathing, you can turn away. So there's a little bit more space to breathe, more space for the diaphragm, okay? So I'm going to guide us through turning towards the leg. So 4-part breath here. Right arm comes around that front leg, left hand comes behind you to the side. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, turning from the waist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turning from the low rib cage. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turning from the upper rib cage, shoulders. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turning your head. With every inhale, lengthen, sit nice and tall. With every exhale, feel yourself twisting. On your next inhale, lengthening your spine. Exhale, come back to center. Uncrossing your legs. Maybe you shake out the left leg. Right foot draws in. Find your sits bones. Perhaps that right foot crosses over the left leg. Perhaps the left leg tucks under. Ooh, yeah, can do this side today. Okay. So left arm or hand around that front knee. Right hand comes to the side behind you. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, turning from the waist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turning low ribs. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turning upper rib cage, shoulders. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turning the head. Notice how it feels on this side. Probably feels different. Each side is different. And that's okay, right? Honor your body where it is today.
Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, come back together or back to center. Release the legs, shake them out. All right, Shavasana, or any final resting pose on the earth that feels comfortable for you. So maybe you use blankets, blocks, pillows, whatever helps you to sink and settle. Taking deep inhales and long, slow exhales. Support. We all need each other. The way we need each other and the way we can support each other looks different right now, but that's okay. Sometimes it's hard to ask for support. Could be just a listening ear. It could be asking someone to take out the garbage. I don't know. What is it that you need? Be okay with asking for what you need. We ask and we offer with ahimsa, nonviolence, with compassion, love, and kindness. Sometimes it's hard to ask. I understand. But as humans, we are here as a community, supporting each other. And that's the only way we can continue existing and loving each other, is by supporting each other. I am open to receive support and guidance. And please know that I am here for each and every one of you who come to my classes. If you need a listening ear, we can always take time outside of our class to have a Zoom call or whatever feels right for you. So there, now you don't have to feel bad for asking. I gave you permission. All right, we're going to take 3 rounds of breath together. So exhale, let everything out. Let out all the air. Take a deep inhale in through your nose, into your diaphragm. And then let it all out. Could be through the mouth or the nose. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, let go of our practice. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, let go of anything that is standing in your way. Finding some small movements here in your fingers and toes. Rolling around wrists and ankles. Maybe you stretch. Gently rolling over to one side, whichever side is calling for you. Making your way to seated, and once you get there, lowering or closing your eyes. Perhaps bringing your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra or Namaskar Mudra. Take a moment to honor yourself for showing up to practice. Honor everyone in this virtual space for sharing their practice, their energy. And perhaps honoring our yogis from the past, those who have brought us this beautiful practice, all the teachers before us. And I honor each and every one of you. Thank you for coming today. Have a beautiful day. I'm around if anyone has anything that they want to talk about or ask or whatever.